So the way the income passport works is anytime you need to verify somebody's income within your system, you pass that user to us, and there are a number of different ways that can happen. It can be embedded within your application workflow, for example, or it could be via an email invite. The person comes through the process that we're going to see in the demo, and then when they review in their report and attest that it's accurate, they submit it, and it can return back to the agency. And that can be also in multiple forms using APIs with webhooks. It could be a PDF and JSON. It can use SFTP, MFTP. But essentially, there are only two handoff points. You handing us the user, us handing you the results back. So the way that what happens in the middle with the passport is, for whatever reason, via email, via SMS, as part of the application workflow, a user gets handed to Income Passport. And what that user sees is this. So this is in our demo environment. This is for a program, nutrition assistance. It could be Medicaid, it could be SNAP, it could be government benefits for the state of Louisiana. This is the person the applicant, the participant, the customer, the client. And here is the report range that Acme has requested for this program for this person. So we're going to verify the income over that time range. So if we come down, first step is the workflow starts at the bottom and the user comes all the way down until review and submit is highlighted. So embedded in this dashboard, you can see the entire workflow. First step is adding income sources. So let's say that the person has income from, they drive for Uber. Now, Uber is a payroll processor that we can connect to directly. So we can pull information directly from Uber. So this is the person logging into their Uber account. And we're going to say this is going to be, we're just going to enter in some test credentials. And the way that Uber is going to authenticate that is they're going to do multi-factor authentication back to the account on file. And the person has to enter in the appropriate code. And if all that is correct, and this person has been able to pass Uber's own security, and that's username, password, multi-factor authentication, it's any embedded tools that they have on top of that, which might include doing geographic identification of the device being used, or potentially doing device identification. Have they ever seen this person log in from that device before? Whatever security protocols Uber has in place, we reap the benefits of to make sure that this actually is the person logging into their account. Now, in this case, there's a configuration, and some states want to know about how many hours did you work a week for Uber. So this is an optional module that can be turned off. But in this case, we're going to show you every bell and whistle within Income Passport. So the person says, I drive about 10 hours a week. Let's say they have another income source. Let's say that they work for a small local business. They get paid as a 1099 doing custodial work, and the name of the company is Cornice Custodial. Now, this is such a small company that we don't have access to the payroll, and it's also 1099 income. So how do we verify income from this source of income? So we're going to add another source of income. And now the person can specify, if it's a small company, it's W-2, they can specify that. But in this case, it's 1099. And we say, great, the way we're going to verify that is we need you to connect to the financial institution where that income goes. So the person says, okay, I'm going to do that. And it could be, maybe they get paid through Venmo. Maybe this is like babysitting or PayPal. But in this case, let's say that this goes to their Chime account. So now they've got to log into their Chime account. So they provide their credentials, and they log in. And again, Chime is going to pass that through all of their security protocols to make sure that they've got everything that they need, and this person actually is the person who has the account. And again, all these financial institutions have gone through KYC level background checks. So just to set them up, you have to verify that you're a real person. So right now the data from Chime is being pulled down. It's being cleaned, enriched, analyzed. It's being organized and augmented and grouped into different types of income so that it makes it easier for the user to go through the process. So they're done connecting their account. The next step is as that process continues, again, they're prompted, and this is the optional module, about to go in and select which of these deposits are for Cornice Custodial. And here we can see that there are 14 deposits. Now there are other income sources here as well, and we're going to come back to those. But right now for Cornice Custodial, this is the income, and it's $11,622.38 over the time period of the report that's being generated. Again, this is the optional module where they're prompted, how many hours a week do you work here? And they say 20 hours. And this is all the 1099 income. Now, if they drive for Uber, they might also drive for Lyft, and they would just log into those credentials, using those credentials. They also might have a W-2 source of income. So let's say they work for Home Depot. In this case, they would log in directly to their Home Depot account and be able, they would log into their Home Depot account with those credentials and be able to access the W-2 information. But for this demo, let's just say that they're done reporting all their income. They're claiming they have income from Uber and from Cornice Custodial. Come back here, they go down, and the next step is additional deposits. We saw when they connected to their Chime account, there was other income in there that they have not chosen to declare as income yet. So what about that income? So if they hit, that's the next section. What about those additional deposits? So they can come in here and they can say, oh, well, yeah, actually, I forgot. These Zelle payments, I actually do babysitting. So this is a new source of income, and it's babysitting. It's also 1099 income. And on average, I do that, 8 hours a week. Great, that's taken care of. What about all these other sources of income? Now, there's also things that are non-work, non-earned income, like interest earned, that some programs are going to require. Now, the person may look at this and say, these are all not relevant income. It may be that this is a joint bank account, and these are for an ex-spouse who's no longer in the household. But just to show you that workflow, they review this and they say, yeah, all of these should not be considered for my determination. And we say, are you sure? This is a lot of money with a lot of deposits. They say, yes, I am sure. I am attesting that this is correct. So this income that they said should not be considered for determination will show up on the income verification report in a separate section. There will be one section that says, here is all the income that we verified that they have claimed is relevant for determination, but here is additional income that we saw that we think might be relevant, but they have said is not relevant, and you should consider it and maybe ask some additional questions. The next step is expenses, which is also an optional module in case the agency wants it. So for this time period, this allows the user to come in and enter in expenses on a month-by-month basis. So let's say that they drive for Uber and they drive in December, they've driven 100 miles. This will convert that to an expense based on the IRS rate for that month and year. And maybe they also want to declare their mobile phone because they need their mobile phone to drive for Uber. They want to declare that as an additional expense. And then they can do that on a month for each month. And they say that's all the expenses I have. So now it's going to generate a report. It's going to go through and do a final analysis of all this information and assemble a report, which is the final step. Sarah is going to have to look at that report and determine, is this an accurate representation? Do I certify that this is correct? And when that report loads, she will be able to submit it directly to the agency that is requesting it, in this case, Acme. So we review the report. And again, here's Sarah Smith. Here's a reporting range. Here is the total income that she's reported minus the expenses. In this case, all of her income was 1099 income. This breaks it out by month for the time period, by income source, as well as the total for all of those by month. And typically we see that eligibility workers are going to look for consistency across all sources of income, as well as consistency across individual income sources. Here's the expenses broken down. She only reported expenses for December. Here are the accounts that were connected, the Chime account and the Uber account, as well as any PII that we can see associated with that. Here is the average number of weeks that's been self-reported for each income source. Here is the other deposits, those that she said were not relevant for determination. And you can see here's that interest earned that we were looking at that has been identified as interest earned, and it's only $3.93. But we do see that target income as well, which is payroll income. Looks like W-2 income that's going to her depository account. And again, she may say that's for my ex-spouse who's no longer in the household. Or maybe that is for her and she forgot to report it. And she can be prompted to go in and log directly to the payroll processor to get the gross income for that W-2. We also, if we go deeper, we can see all of the individual deposits and income events. So here are all the income events for that babysitting income source, Cornice custodial. Here are all the payouts for Uber. So you get down to the transaction level detail. Now, if she had reported some W-2 income, if she had connected to, Walmart or Home Depot, here's an example of a report that shows W-2 income. So here's Walmart and Joe's Trucking, which is 1099 income. Because she reported the W-2 income, you can see a breakout of all of the individual details of that Walmart. And again, if you scroll to the bottom, you get the level of detail for that W-2 income down to the pay stub. And again, it breaks out to all the individual line items making up that net income that gets paid, as well as the gross income. But in our current example, she reviews the information. It all looks accurate. She attests that it is correct, and she submits the report. And a copy of the report is emailed to her, and she is now done.